When we go to our favorite social media site on our computers or on our phones, most of us scroll through our feed, maybe make a post, and just keep scrolling. While we're online, we don't usually think about anyone watching where we go, what we like, what we post, or who we talk to. In some countries like Russia and China, these are valid concerns for anyone who uses the internet. To the Chinese government specifically, censorship means that on social media sites where users create their own content, they have to keep a watchful eye on everyone. In order to do this, experts say that China has developed the world's most sophisticated and extensive censorship system, and one that is growing. Government censorship disallows citizens to speak freely, so there is no criticism for the state or their officials, which eliminates the citizens' ability to hold the government accountable. In an article examining censorship in China, Gary King states that the Chinese government employs over 1 million people to insert huge numbers of pseudonyms and other deceptive writings into the stream of real social media posts. The reason the Chinese government does this is not simply to hide information from its citizens, but also to use a flooding of false information to make the citizens see the government in a more favorable way. Not only does the government actively force content online, but they also have created over 100 bylaws, rules, and regulations to control information online. One law, which has become a major factor for all social media platforms, says that all internet portals must take responsibility for the censorship of the content they carry. In other words, if a website has content the government deems inappropriate, the website is just as responsible as whoever posted it. In addition to regulating social media platforms, the Chinese government also prosecutes individual citizens for violating any of their online policies, especially if the violation begins to attract attention. For example, a man in Shanxi province was recently detained for being retweeted 500 times on Sina Weibo, which is the Chinese version of Twitter, just because his post spoke poorly of the government. While the government is actively taking steps to censor all domestic content online, they are also doing their best to keep outside information as limited as possible. In the article, The Other Side of the Great Firewall, Hannah Beach investigates the Chinese web and explains what life on the internet is like for the 649 million Chinese with internet access. According to Beach, the internet in China is somewhat protected from the international internet, and the government is working towards trying to completely separate China's internet from the rest of the world. Without access to outside information and by disallowing its users to speak freely online, the public conversation remains static on social media platforms. The government censors what is said online and keeps anything that it doesn't agree with as silenced as possible. They write laws and impose regulations to both hire their own censors and force websites to do the same. Censorship is taken very seriously in China, and as long as dissenters pose a threat to the government's power, there will continue to be those who wish to silence as many as possible.